simple 8-exercise formula. Now the reason that you can do a lot of intense exercise here is because we're using that non-competing type of alternating exercises. So the jumping jack is our total body warm-up. It doesn't, you know, it's just warming us up. Then we do the prisoner squat, so then we do a lower body focused. And even if we work pretty hard in that, even if that becomes intense or we do a lot of repetitions, we can still go down to a push-up and work those muscles pretty intensely, do a lot of repetitions or an intense exercise, because our heart rate's still going to be up, but the muscles are what need the recovery, and they're going to recover while we, the lower body muscles are going to recover while we do the upper body. So I'm always looking for that non-competing pairing of exercises, and that way we can cram more workout into a short amount of time if we're not fatiguing the muscles. So we're always trying to look for some way to get some recovery for the muscles, which is the most important thing for the recovery in both the circuits and in the supersets. So average fitness level, we're going through about 30 or 40 jumping jacks just to get going, gets most of the body warmed up for what we're about to do. Then we still go through an easy lower and upper body exercise. So in most cases, we're going to be doing some type of bodyweight squat, 15 to 20 repetitions. And then we're going to be doing some type of easy push-up for about 12 to 15 repetitions. So for me, that would be regular push-ups. For most people that I've trained in the past, we might do something called an incline push-up, where you might have your hands on the bench and feet on the ground because it takes a little bit of resistance off. Or you might use a Smith. If you're in a gym and you have access to a Smith machine, you can set the bar at different heights and again take some of the resistance off. So that's one way that we help people move towards a regular push-up, starting with the incline and then working their way down to a flat push-up. So we're just looking for a warm-up benefit from those first 3 exercises. Then we'll get into a single leg exercise, and if we're doing it for the interval type training purposes, we're going to be looking at a higher repetition, 12 to 15, so not doing an exercise they can only do 6 to 8 times. Then moving into a push or a pull. I think I mislabeled that and shouldn't have put easy there. So we're looking for something they can do 12 to 15 times. So if I'm able to do 12 to 15 regular push-ups, now I'm going decline, close grip, getting 15 to 20 at the most. Because that's a nice combination. I always say that bodyweight training in this method is a hybrid of interval training and strength training. I mean, if you're doing 15 to 20 repetitions of a bodyweight exercise, certainly not maximum strength training, but it's not as intense as sprinting on a treadmill either. So it's a combination of the two. And then after you've done some upper body exercise that's 12 to 15 repetitions there, then you're going to go into the back of the legs. So again, this will be a 15 to 20 repetition exercise here. And then the total body abs, beginner, probably just a stationary abdominal exercise like the plank or side plank. And more advanced, you can be getting into all types of crazy exercises, mountain climbers with your feet on the ball or mountain climbers with your hands on the ball. So you're about 15 repetitions there, and then finishing off with about the most intense exercise in the entire circuit. So again, jumping, perhaps even sprinting if you have area to do that, or running in place. And then if we're doing this for interval training, then we take a rest here. So 1-2 minutes rest, trying to rest as little as possible or absolutely no rest between each of the exercises in that circuit. And then a rest at the end, and then we'll probably repeat that 2 more times. And if we did that at the end of a regular strength training session, that entire thing should probably only take us about 15 minutes to get through about 3 times. Again, resting as little as possible. Okay, so this is the timed body weight intervals I want to talk about. I may have forgotten something, but what I have is the Gym Boss interval timer. It took me way too long to get one of these things. Anybody else have one of these? Yeah, just go to gymboss.com, and they're a little timer. And what you do is you can set 2 different interval periods. So I usually set it in this video that we did, set it for 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of recovery. That's a popular method of interval training that people use. And so it'll beep once after 20 seconds and then once again after 10 seconds. So in this particular video, we were doing 20 seconds of bodyweight squats, and then as soon as the 20-second beep ended, I would just hold the bottom position. So if I was, down here and then it beeped, I would just hold that for 10 seconds, and then after 10 seconds of holding, start going through the squats again. And so you may hold the bottom position, you may hold the top position. This is, this is intermediate to advanced in terms of how, the difficulty of this. But that's one way of doing it. And then, maybe do 8 circuits of that. So that's 4 minutes of training. So that's the classic Tabata interval program, if you've ever heard of that, which is 8 rounds of 20 seconds of hard exercise and 10 seconds of recovery. So what we were doing here is just using one exercise in the system. Another way to do it, and you won't be able to do as many rounds of it, is push-ups. So you do 20 seconds of push-ups, and then 10-second hold at the top position, and then 20 seconds of push-ups, 10-second hold at the top. But you'll probably only get through that 3 or 4 times because it's obviously your upper body muscles are going to fatigue quite a bit faster. I also use it for abdominal training, and you can use it just with the stationary plank exercises. So 20 seconds plank, then switch over 10 seconds left side plank, then back to 20-second middle plank, 10-second right side plank, and you might have someone be able to go through that for 4 full minutes, but that's a long time. But it is a good way to break up that exercise, which is generally a little monotonous. I mean, it's a little boring to do the plank for a full minute, 2 minutes straight. But if you're doing it this way, just that whole timed aspect of the interval training adds more variety to it. I did one this morning, so I played up with it a little bit more. What I did was I started with the bodyweight squats. I did a couple, 8 rounds of the 20-second squatting, 10-second hold. Then I went into lunges and push-ups combined. So I did 20 seconds of lunges, 10 seconds of push-ups, and I alternated that back and forth for 3 to 4 minutes. Then I went down and did the abdominal exercise. Then I got the stability ball out and did 20 seconds of stability ball leg curls, and then 10 seconds of stability ball ab rollout. So it's just another way to add variety into the bodyweight exercises or any type of training that you do. But if we're just focusing on bodyweight exercises only, that's how I would use the timed interval aspect of it. And again, short amount of workout to get a lot of results because you're getting a whole lot of exercise density, a lot of work done in a short amount of time. All right, this is the kettlebell stuff I want to talk about now. In this video here, we were doing a kettlebell bodyweight exercise workout out in the snow here just for fun. So one thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit of kettlebell technique in a second. But what we were doing here is now we're doing kettlebell exercises and bodyweight exercises in a circuit. So it's very similar to that alternative interval training I talked about, the circuit, the bodyweight circuit. But now we've got one piece of equipment here. We've got the kettlebell in. So the kettlebell allows you to work the upper back, which you can't do if you're doing just bodyweight exercises without the bar. So in this instance, what I did in this particular video is we started off with swings. So that's the exercise where the kettlebell goes between your legs and you just swing it up to shoulder height. And then we were doing that for a certain number of repetitions and then alternating with bodyweight exercises. So again, more variety, lots of fun. It's a whole lot better than doing the cardio on the machine. And it's also total body workout with more mobility aspect. So just going to go through a little bit of the kettlebell swing here. So I brought the baby kettlebell today. This one's the 35. So for most guys, the 35-pound kettlebell is generally a good starting spot. Women, I think they make about an 18-pound kettlebell, and that's not a bad starting spot for women. So big mistake that people make in their kettlebell training for the swing exercise is that they do too much of a squat in the movement. So you can see in this picture, that's the bottom of the swing. So it's more like the exercises that we call the Romanian deadlift or a good morning exercise. You're pushing your hips back more and just with a slight bend in your knee. So it's not squatting down, but pushing the hips back like that. So you're really getting the thrust through the hips and working the back of the legs quite a bit. Personally, I only use a couple of kettlebell exercises. I use the swing and then the snatch exercise, which is the one where you swing the kettlebell up overhead, just because it's personal preference. It's nothing that I have against the other exercises. I just don't like to do them. So I guess I do have something against them. But I mean, if people like kettlebell training, they can certainly do all the other stuff. But I just like these ones because they're real total body movements. So the kettlebell swing, when you're going to do it, I'm going to try and replicate that exact form there. And in that video there, I'm using a 53-pound kettlebell. So, but with the beginners, if you're just getting into the kettlebell training, then